Hey everybody, this is Mr. Silverwolf SP. Let's play Divinity 2 Dragon Knight Saga. Alright, first thing, this is Dragon Knight Saga, not Original Sin. Original Sin is a completely different game that we will not be playing. We are playing Dragon Knight Saga, okay? For some reason my controller is not wanting to work. I'll check on that in a moment. I can't imagine trying to play this game without a controller, but if I have to, I have to. What name shall we call him? Ooh, game reference name. Let's see. 5 o'clock shadow. Civilian.
I triggered something, but what? I triggered something, but what?
Soldier.
I triggered something, but what?
Feel my wrath!
I triggered something, but what?
Feel my wrath.
Oh, I don't feel too good.
Ah!
Alright, next thing. This game is not especially as advanced as other games, but it has its own style and its own charms. And I've always found it to be one of the more fun games I've played. I hope you guys enjoy it. Scarface, beard, goatee, mustache, 5 o'clock shadow. We're gonna go with Scarface because not everybody has darkened, you know, 5 o'clock, not 5 o'clock shadow, but darkened beards while they have blonde hair. I mean, that doesn't always work out. It's a ladybug. And if we don't like how our character looks now, we can respeculate. Ooh, airship.
Here we are, Farglow, the place where our disciples become true dragon slayers. And today, the honor is yours.
So obviously this is my boss, she's in charge, and she thinks she's the main character. Newsflash, she's not. What are my orders?
They are quite simple. Seek out the men and women who reside here and benefit from their knowledge.
Apparently I'm a silent hero.
That may sound a bit vague, but don't worry. Farglow will explain itself.
So, what exactly will be going on in there?
You'll have to see for yourself. Don't be so apprehensive. You'll be fine.
Okay.
This is a momentous step in every Slayer's life, but few have fared badly afterwards.
You're not coming with me.
Though I should very much like to enter the village again, I am forbidden to do so. Only once in their lives may dragon slayers enter it, as disciples.
Ah.
In any case, it would be imprudent to join you. This is a part of the journey each slayer must walk alone.
So when we meet again, I shall finally be a real slayer.
Not completely, no. After the initiation, we will head back to Rivertown, where the ritual will come to its conclusion. But let's talk about that on the Zeppelin when we head back, shall we?
See you later, Commander.
Good luck, Slayer.
Alright, let me see. Can I turn this to keyboard controls? Can I turn this to keyboard controls? Can I turn this off of keyboard control? You guys are just not being nice. I cannot turn this on to... I have to play it with this. I curse you all. Well, poopy. Some games are easier to play with or without the various controls and whatnot. So, in this game, you are studying to be a dragon slayer. I'm still a baby here, but we're going to look through some stuff and see what's going on. Here's my hero, Ormagodin, level 1. Bonus points if you know who it is. The Adventures of Fabian of Ferrol. Quest item. An old book you have read countless times, but which you still hold dear because it tells the tale of a legendary hero from your native land. It is a work that never really gained the popularity it deserves. Huh. Kind of like this game, really. Now, this game does not take itself seriously. There are a lot of jokes. It can be very funny. Much like the original Sin franchise in its own way. Don't think you can read that. Okay, you can't. No jewelry, no armor, no weapons. Light guard cuirass, gauntlets, leggings. That's what I've got equipped, and I'm using my fists because I have no other items. So, vitality. You are of... The affects hit points, determines your amount of hit points. You are of average human fitness. You can tough it out in rough play, but don't trust your constitution to get you by under all circumstances. Spirit. Affects mana, determines your amount of mana. Mentally, you are a well-balanced human being, but you lack the strength and willpower needed to become a great mind. Strength affects melee damage. That is 119% right now. Melee resistance, that is 21.37, conditioned body, 39%, and hit point regeneration at 0.53% per second. This seems to be a very important stat. Determines the damage you do in melee attacks, your resistance to melee attacks, and influences both conditioned body and your hit points regeneration rate. You are slightly above the average human's strength. You may just get by as a warrior, but it would be a risky career choice. Now, conditioned body reduces the duration of the time you are influenced by the spells Bleed, Burn, Poison, and Polymorph. Okay, so 39% reduction to that. That's good. Dexterity affects range damage, 110%. Ranged resistance, 10.43. Heightened reflexes, 21%. Determines the damage you do with ranged attacks, your resistance to ranged attacks, and influences heightened reflexes. Okay. You have a reasonable level of dexterity. A great ranger you are not, but there is hope for you yet. Okay. Heightened reflexes. Determines the extra damage you do when scoring a critical hit. So we want those both to be very, very high. Intelligence. Affects magic damage at 115%. Magic resistance at 14.67, Indomitable Will 31%, Mana Regeneration 0.49% per second. So all these stats are kind of important. Determines the damage you do with magical attacks, primarily those of weapons, and more gradually those of offensive magic skills. Your resistance to magical attacks, and influences both Indomitable Will and your mana regeneration rate. You have an average intelligence for a human. You are unlikely to win any great fame as a wizard, but you might like to give the profession a try. Indomitable Will determines your resistance to Curse, Fear, Polymorph, Ranger Surprise, and Stun. I wonder what Ranger Surprise is. Weapon damage is, of course, fairly... I think weapon damage is fairly self-explanatory. Mana, your pool of magic. When this drops to 0, you can no longer cast spells until you replenish it. It's fun to read item descriptions and stuff in this game, at least at first. Your magical aura is low, about the level of an average human on the street. That's 239 at the moment. Hit points, 323. Your life force. When this drops to 0, you die. Your life force is impressive enough for you to go tell a demon it can go and romance a tree trunk and survive the ensuing battle. Experience. Experience 0. Experience debt 0. Experience needed to level 200. Solve quests and vanquish enemies to gain experience. You are still wet behind the ears and grass green of foot. You're not sure which bit of a dagger to stick into an enemy, and you think crossing your fingers is some form of magical protection spell. You've got a lot to learn, kid. Okay, so yeah. Skills. There's 5 different areas. Standard Dragon Slayer skills, Ranger skills, Warrior skills, Mage skills, Priest skills. As you level up, I don't think you even have to level. I think as your character levels, you unlock these things across the board. While we have to pick one of these, right, Mage, Warrior, Ranger, as a starting quote-unquote class when we leave here, we don't actually have to stay in that. We can go across the board. Some of these things are more useful than others, and I'm trying to do some research into which ones I prefer. I don't really want to do a cheat character and just get max in all, because that's kind of a waste of points anyway. I mean, some of these things are not very good, at least when you compare it. Okay, the Farglow collection. I arrived in Farglow, where I must undergo a ritual that will make me a real Dragon Slayer. It'll make me a real boy! I arrived in Farglow. I must undergo a ritual that will make me a real Dragon Slayer. My commander, Rode, instructed me to enter the village and seek out some people there who can apparently teach me valuable things. We're going to save before we go any further. Okay, save spamming is a way of life for me, so if it offends you, deal with it. Okay, that's my quest target over there. That is a quest marker. That is where I am going. I'm going to Morgana, so that is where I'm going. I am down here. World map. Okay, I can use space to jump. I can jump so high, let me tell you. Barrel is empty. Barrel is empty. Box is empty. Barrel is empty. Road won't talk to me. Marius.
I can understand why you'd want to come talk to me, but no. Can't tell you more than what Commander Rhodes told you.
Now, one commonality that these people share that I don't have is their eyes be shiny. I wonder what that is about. So, have you ever fought a dragon?
Well, the big dragon purges took place during the decade that followed the Great War against Damien, the Damned.
Yeah, he's the BBEG, the big bad evil guy. You find him in a lot of the older Divinity games, Divine Divinity and things like that.
As you know, most Dragon Knights were killed during that period. Dragon Slayers became a small group of elite warriors as opposed to the army they once were.
So I'm joining a small group of elite warriors.
Occasionally, a Dragon Knight would surface and the Slayers would head out. 8 years ago, I fought my first.
Which was it?
Geldor, he was called. Lord of the 5 Spears. Trapped him in the dungeons beneath his castle, so he couldn't take his dragon form. Did his cognomen proud, he did, for many were skewered by his fearsome javelins.
Ooh.
In the end, though, my arrows found his gut, and other swords tore his chest.
Are you sure there are Dragon Knights still at large?
One at least, a female. She has left a trail of mutilated Slayer corpses behind her over the years. We'll get her yet, though. She's bound to turn up sooner or later. It doesn't matter if it takes another century of searching. The last of the Dragon Knights, the betrayers, will be found and will be slain.
See you later.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Go on then. Don't tarry. We haven't got all day, you know. Takes you back, doesn't it? This place.
That it does. When I was a disciple, I stepped from the Zeppelin so nervous it made me nauseous.
I was all right until I first saw Torrell. How he enjoyed it too.
Alright, note to self, watch for someone named Torrell. Alright, I'm about to do something that a lot of people will not approve of, but I don't care. I won't do it right now. I do need experience though. So I might kill rabbits later on. But it's harder to catch them when they don't have when you don't have weapons. Alright, so like I was saying, I originally played this game on the Xbox 360. This particular game had some bugs at first. I don't know if it was just my version of it or if it was a universal problem. I had saving problems with it. It just did not want to save anything. I mean, you play for an hour, you reload it, and you'd be back at the beginning. But eventually we found a workaround. And in later editions of the game, there were no problems whatsoever, and it was absolutely marvelous. So, like I said, it might have been a defective copy of mine. Ooh, I can see the stitching. Cool.
The disciple arrives. Let me bid you a fond welcome to Farglow.
Please note that he is not all shiny. Alright, how do we want to play this? I thank you for your welcome.
And I commend your patience. Most slayers loathe being referred to as a pupil. Such a belittling word, disciple, is, wouldn't you say, for one who has since the age of 10 been groomed to become the elite of man's warriors.
Oh.
But don't you worry, you'll earn the title of Dragon Slayer soon enough.
How do I do that?
I presume Commander Rode has been rather cryptic about what you're supposed to do here, and I can't reveal much more. In fact, I have but one thing to add. Morgana is waiting by the waterfall. Find her, and the purpose of this day shall become crystal clear.
Who is Morgana?
The Archmage. She's an intimidating woman, to be sure, but pleasant enough in her own way. Her laboratory is at the back of the village, next to the Divine Memorial Flame.
What's this Divine Memorial Flame?
As the name says, it's a shrine that bears a flame in honor of the divine. The bowl in which the flame was lit is held aloft by stone dragons. This design symbolizes the burden they carry on their shoulders, the guilt that was heaped upon them when they killed the divine.
Okay, so we're going to have to learn more about that, because in this game, apparently the divine is dead and dragons did it, and that's why we are dragon slaying. Who do I have to see besides Morgana?
Oh, several people, but she'll send you on your way after her part of the ritual. The others probably won't share more than a few words with you until they know you've visited Morgana.
I bid you a good day.
And you, Slayer.
Alright, so the idea here then is get to Morgana, deal with the situation that she wants to do, and then we'll worry about everybody else here. Inventory, Passion of the Divine. Use. In good impassioned tradition, this book expounds, basking in the light of a blinding halo that melts away every form of objectivity, the magnanimous deeds of the hero of heroes, the example of every warrior, the envy of every wizard, the tingle between every girl's legs, Lucian the Divine. Most are undeserving of such lavish praise, but not the saviour of Rivellon, who slew the demon of lies, and battled tirelessly for the good of this world until a dragon knight, may hell befall the great betrayer, placed a dagger in his back. Tucked behind the leather binding in the back of the book is a small addendum that explains how the Divine adopted Damien, the root of evil that would later set in motion the Great War, but as the text reads, all of this information is hazy and inconclusive. Hard to see the dark side is, Alright.
No. To combine that brew with last night's herbal distillation might cause an implosion. Try it anyway. You can be so irresponsible sometimes. That's easy for you to say. You can't die a second time.
The heck you say? Here's the Divine Memorial Flame, and I think I'm dealing with a woman who might be slightly unhinged.
You, I am Morgana, the Archmage of Farglow.
I don't mean to sound impertinent, but were you just talking to yourself?
No, of course I wasn't. I was talking to Torrent. The ghost of a long-dead mage. No need to give me that look, either. You'll soon see him for yourself. Turn to the reason you are here. The ritual that will make you a true dragon slayer.
Alright, I'm going to play this the way I would play this, but a lot of people would not appreciate what I'm about to do. The secret to a hypnotic juggling act?
You have a smart mouth on you. This is a serious ritual, so do pay attention. To be a slayer is to hate the dragon, but also to understand it. No other order in Revellon takes the old military adage, know your enemy, quite so seriously as the Academy does.
Please note the eye painted over her head. I find it interesting.
To attain this goal, I will infuse you with the memories of dragons. It will make you understand their language, motives, powers, and weaknesses. It will also color your eyes silver, the noted characteristic of the Slayer, which will enable you to see the spirits of the dead.
Ooh.
The ritual has a side effect, but nothing can be done about that.
So the silver eyes that Rode and the others have enables them to see the dead.
Quite so. You could call it a perk that comes with the power of the memories. Everyone can see the living dead, of course, those poor souls that have fallen prey to necromancers. But to see the ghosts of those long dead is a precious ability, and will prove useful more frequently than you may think.
That side effect you mentioned. Tell me about it.
The real drawback is this. The spell was not originally designed for the brain of a human, so to make place for it, you will lose your active knowledge of your years as a slayer. It's unpleasant, I realize that. But a slayer needs those dragon memories in order to operate. The only comfort is that your powers still persist on a subconscious level, so you'll regain your skills rather quickly. Becoming a dragon slayer is a harsh occurrence, but you will become one of Rivellon's greatest heroes.
Uh-huh. So, I've been studying to do this for years, and everything I've achieved is about to be washed away just because it has to be. Why do I have to undergo this ritual after graduating from the academy? Those years have all been futile.
No, they haven't. Your training has made you a force to be reckoned with, and has shaped a mind that rivals the wise teachers of old. Lesser people would be driven mad by the dragon memories. Only one as arduously trained as yourself can absorb them. Take comfort in the fact that slayers like Rode and Marius have faced the same ordeal and went on to become mighty warriors.
What did you mean by a slayer needs those dragon memories to operate?
The memories not only give you more insight and knowledge than a man could absorb in a century of unbroken study, they also protect you from mind attacks the dragons perform. Without that, you'd be a puppet doing their bidding. But now, you have equal mental strength, so dominance in combat can be achieved.
So if you attack a dragon or a dragon knight, and you're not shielded from it, they will simply turn you into their plaything. I'm ready to receive the dragon memories.
Then prepare to become a dragon slayer.
One of the reasons why changing your eye color was not a major part of character creation in this game. But I've always thought silver looked good on me.
You might experience some dizziness for a while. Some disorientation, perhaps. The journey starts again, my friend. Your path is an empty page ready to be filled with tales of wonder, of adventure. But before you trot out of here in search of dragons and distinction, make sure you meet the veterans here. Alberic, Aravir, and Gawain know more about their trade than anyone you are likely to meet. And don't forget Isabel. The gift she will share with you, aside from the dragon memories, is the most prominent one you'll receive in Saga.
Goodbye, Morgana.
Divine blessings, Slayer. The last ingredient needed to achieve the effect of luminosity still
What the?
eludes me.
Maybe we could add some fire.
Toral. That's the one she warned me about.
That might solve the brightness issue, but wouldn't exactly improve the taste.
Okay, so we have just taken our next step to becoming a Dragon Slayer. We will see more about this the next time we play. This has been Mr. Silverwolf SP. If you enjoyed this, please leave a like if you haven't. Subscribe if you haven't already. There will be more Divinity content upcoming as time goes on. We are also playing Final Fantasy X at the current time, so there's also that. Have a nice day. Try to be kind.